Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everybody. Here's extending a very, very warm and a very hearty welcome on behalf of the Corporate Laws and the Corporate Governance Committee of ICAI for this program on version 3 launch of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. I have with me Shri Manoj Pandey, the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, who's here to address us today. Would also like to extend a very warm welcome to Rohit Bhatt of LTI, who is the presenter for the day. And as you're aware, there is a very large transformational journey that's been undertaken by MCA. And this journey actually seeks to ensure that there is a single source of truth for all data which is presented by various users. And aligned to this vision of a single source of truth, they've implemented the MCA version portal in version 3 now. We had a version 1, a version 2, and a version 3. As we speak today, version 3 has gone live for all LLP forms and 9 specific company forms. Version 3 has a few changes as compared to version 2. There are many promotional videos and lecture videos which are available both on the MCA website as well as the ICA website, and we'll be happy to send them to you again. The key changes are, in V2, you could file a form as a registered user or a business user. Whereas in V3, you need to be a business user, except for forms which are Run, LLP, and Philip, which you can upload as a registered user itself. So that's the number 1 change. The number 2 change is that you fill the form online compared to an earlier version where you would download, fill, and upload again. Here you fill the form online, save it, attach your DSC, and then you upload the form. The third important element is that today there is a lot of focus on who the user is. So you need to associate your DSC, much like confirming your signature to a bank before you sign your checks thereafter, or you authorize transactions thereafter. So these are the 3 main changes. And the objective of today's webinar is to actually introduce you to the 9 new forms which are planned for companies which have already gone live. And these forms are DIR3 KYC, the Web KYC, CHG1, CHG4, CHG6, CHG8, CHG9, which are the charge forms, and DPT3 and DPT4, which means for your LLP forms and these 9 company forms, you will go and perform your transaction in version 3, which is pretty much clear on the MCA website itself. For the remaining forms, you will use the V2 process itself. With these few words, I'd like to introduce and request Shri Manoj Pandey ji to present his opening remarks. He's the Joint Secretary and he's handling this MCA project. Don't intend this to be flattering, but has merely taken the liberty of saying that very rarely we've come across a very committed officer who's front-ending this project on a full-time basis. And very happy to let you know that ICAI is also jointly working on this engagement. For the first time in the history of ICAI, we've actually deployed a team to assist in the UAT process. We have provided 12 full-time equivalent resources to help the MCA. We assisted them a little on LLP, and for the first lot of forms, we have actually performed the UAT in more than 1,000 forms, before which these forms have gone live. So it's over to Shri Manoj Pandey.
Thanks a lot, Shri Priya. It's really nice to hear you. Whenever you speak, I think a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of interest, and a lot of support to Ministry of Corporate Affairs. We always see in your voice and see and hear. It's really nice when you say that ICAI is partnering with Ministry of Corporate Affairs. As I always say, that the ministry is the service provider to all our professional friends, be it ICAI or ICSI or Cost Accounts Institute. What we are doing is basically we are providing a platform where the corporates should do their regulatory filings, and that should happen with some ease. The only thing which happens when you progress from one version to another version, there will be some change in user interface, there will be some change in forms, and there will be some change in platform. But we try to ensure this time that there should be minimum disruption. And this is how it has happened. If the stakeholders are aware that in V2 of transition from V1 to V2, there were some hiccups, and due to which the form filing got interrupted. This time we tried to ensure that it happens in a staggered manner. As Shri Priya just informed everybody, it's being rolled, the entire version is being rolled out in phases. And the first phase is started with the revamped website, with e-consultation module, ebook module, which is a new feature. These are new features of MCA 21. Then we deployed entire LLP module, and the company forms are getting deployed in phases. We are very happy to inform the professional friends here that since launch of these 9 forms of companies, we have found that there are not many issues which stakeholders are flagging, and it's really because of the support which we have got from ICAI and ICSI. The Chartered Accountants, in fact, Institute has partnered with us. As Sri Priya has said, it might never have happened before when we have partnered with them since beginning of the UAT process. So whatever advice CLCG gives to us, we in fact we direct our service provider to implement their recommendations. And at this time also, the CLCG team is fully supporting us in stabilization of these 9 forms, because software has a cycle. It is a development cycle, testing cycle, implementation, and thereafter stabilization. Going forward, we will also be launching the remaining of the forms in coming months, where we will require the support from our professional friends. What I will request, because in the stabilization phase, there could be some issues in understanding of the usages of the system, and also there could be data issues which could happen from V2 to V3, and that might pose some problems, some anxiety to the stakeholders, but the help desk team of LTI, which is the service provider to MCA at present for MCA version 3, and the team of ICAI professionals, friends, they are present to fully support you in your regulatory filings of these forms. So thank you again, Shri Priya. We are really thankful to ICAI for helping us, and also for organizing this webinar to take the stakeholders and the professional friends through the features of these 9 forms, and also the entire interface of user registration afresh. Although we have conducted a lot of webinars, but I think we should again be touching this point. Thank you very much. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir. Just before Rohit actually starts this, just want to request the participants just to appreciate this. Transforming from one system to another is not very easy, especially because it's a running system. Now, obviously, any regulator will want to build in better levels of controls for better governance of this country. We've had a lot of challenges on strike off companies, etc. So today, the ministry is also, they have a lot of data in their possession, which seeks to suggest that they need to have a more improved control framework. And one such improved control would obviously be some amount of data integrity. So today, if I'm saying I'm a foreign person or a foreign resident, and that's the data which is stored in your version 2 earlier filing. But today, let's say you have an Indian phone number, then that's something that the system would identify saying, why should this filing happen across geographies? That's just a small example. So they've tried to build in a lot more controls. So some of us, so for example, there was a monetary contribution challenge in LLP. Previously, we could just put 33, 33, 33, and then it would go through. Today, the system is saying, is it totaling 100? So these are some issues which, as if I can put it across, for the sake of our country, we'll live with for some time. Admittedly, your form did go through last time in V2. It will again go through. It's only a matter of that level of difficulty. So I think we need to do this. And secondly, as we stand today, I'm told, I'm sure more than 1 lakh of forms have got filed in LLPs. We could still be having unique user issues. Please bear with us. Update your Google link, and I can assure you that anybody who's updating the Google link, which is provided by ICAI, and mentioning your MCA ticket number, the ICAI team is actually calling them. We've received about 2,000 plus queries like this, and we've actually managed to crack most of them, other than some very significant data challenges which we've had. And a third important thing, purely to provide some confidence, we've tested, actually ICAI has tested not less than 1,500 forms in this lot 1 that you're seeing. So we've imagined all kinds of scenarios and tried to do this testing. So it's not that the forms have got released without that amount of significant UAT by everybody. So if you're still facing a challenge, admittedly, everybody is important, but just be a little patient, it'll get resolved. So with this preamble, now as we speak lot 2, I'm informed that 22,000 DIR3 KYCs have gone through, and 3,400 of the web KYC has gone through. About 500 CHG1 plus CHG4 forms have got filed, which means the system by itself is working okay, but there could be challenges which we'll live with. And it's now over to Mr. Rohit Bhatt.
I'll just intervene for a second. I will just, Shripriya, sorry to interject. I just have to correct the figures. We have more than 270,000 LLP forms got filed. So not lakh, but it's 270,000 forms, which is much, much more than what was filed last year or pre-COVID period. So it's really, the stakeholders are using this version 3 of MCA 21 and doing the regulatory filings. Thank you very much. This is what I had to clarify.
So the only thing is, if you have a challenge, it doesn't mean the process is not working. It means there is a challenge. So if so many forms have gone through, then only some are getting stuck. We'll work towards addressing them. You may still have the same problem even with lot 2, which is why the 9 company forms I told you, 23,000 people have managed to do their DIR KYC, which means the process is working. But we could, for example, mine might have some challenge. We'll try and work that around, and and again, the MCA has a very, very robust team that's working in the back end to make sure that anybody who has a problem is getting addressed. So that's about it, and it's over to Rohit ji.
Yeah, thank you, Shripriya ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jaya sir. Thank you, Shripriya ma'am, for giving us the opportunity. Although this is not the first webinar we are doing, there have been multiple ones. But on company ones, this is something, I think the second one we are doing it. As we said, there has been a good progress being seen from where we started with. I think with this go live that we have now done on the 9 forms, I think the base model remained the same. The common module remained the same. So, for example, login and registration remains the same. The payment module remains the same. and the platform itself remains the same. So it's just that we have just put 9 forms in the system, is the only change that we are bringing in, but rest of the things have remained the same. So far, the overall execution has been really well compared to our issues that we have mentioned last time. There are very minimal issues that we have seen as of now. As the numbers have already, Shri Priya ma'am have already shared the numbers. In total, on these 9 forms from last 5 days, we saw somewhere around 26,000 filings has been done in total on these 9 company forms, and across all the forms have been filed till now. Also on LLP, as JSR was mentioning, 2.7 is the total number that we have as of now crossed, which itself is a record compared to the all the numbers we had last. So today, just wanted to walk you through 2 things, and which seems to be very much critical while we have been going through the issues that users have been raising, and we see a really good amount of user awareness has to happen, and there are a number of tickets that we have been trying to resolve through just user awareness, and that's where ICSI, ICAI, all the professional institutes have been helping us. Especially ICAI has been very much in supporting us in order to fix those issues through user awareness. They have a dedicated team been put in, and they are just helping us around with the user awareness thing. Technically, of course, they will just do a little bit of analysis, and those can be shared across to us. So that is the overall numbers as well as the overall progress as of now we could see right from the start we have done. So login and registration, why we have picked up again on login and registration, because this is a common module which you have been using earlier, and in the new login, in the new forms that we have launched, again this remains this common module only, and then this is where you need to log in for filing these 9 forms. So just wanted to give a brief again. A login and registration validations remains the same. It's important to understand why this plays a critical role. Is there may be some of the users or some of the professionals who are only filing the LLP forms, but there were a large amount of users who are specifically working on companies and filing companies forms only. For them to migrate into the new system, we had planned this session on login and registration, and and although we have gone through these topics earlier, but I don't wanted to put more focus on this because there are enough material are available on MCA website. We will just focus mostly on the 9 forms and give you one-to-one comparisons between what was there in V2 and what is there in V3 that has completely changed. Again, these are the roles that we have. There are no changes to it. The only thing that we have changed at the end was the professional staff member, which has been now been introduced. It was introduced in month of May itself. And this is for the professional staff which are working on the behalf of some of the professionals of ICSI, ICA, and ICWI as a staff members, such as trainees, professional firms, or non-professional members as well. So this was only addition which was done at a later stage, but we could see already there are 600 to 800 people already registered on this, and there are a number of people using this user role to file their forms, and we have also received a good feedback the way it is working. So you can utilize this if you are a professional staff which refers to any person, or which is on the behalf of professional of ICSI, ICAI, ICWI as a staff member. Again, the sign in, sign up remains the same place. There's no change. We are not doing any change in there. You can go there. So now what has happened? Register. If you click on sign in, sign up, you will see a register button there, wherein you can do a new registration. However, if you are coming from V2, you already have an existing user ID in V2 and a password there. You just simply need to log in here with the same ID, and it will get through. So if I'm using a fresh registration, I need to get into the user registration, and these are the roles: registered user, business role. Now, there are some restrictions between the register user and a business user, as we have been mentioning, and because the new system allows business users to file all the forms. However, in registration registered user, there are minimal forms which can be accessed by this user. For example, in LLP, you can only access run and fill form to file. However, other forms, other 18 forms, you are not eligible to file the forms. So simply you can just register yourself, update your DIN and PAN, mandatory for director and designated partner, and then you can provide your first names, last name. So in the earlier system, there was a fix that has been done. There's always a middle letter and a first name letter that it was asking, but there was some capital letters. So as of now, if you are entering anything, it will take it only the capital letters. So that itself has been fixed, so that will not restrict you to do a registration now. And as per the MCA database, you need to make sure to put details as per MCA database only. You need to update your mobile number and email ID. So DIN number will automatically pull this information automatically, the address one line, and you just need to put your DIN number. Probably it will pull all the information from the database itself. The mobile numbers, please make sure that the mobile number that you are using is actively being used by you, and email ID is actively being used by you, because the new system is completely OTP based system. So there are some security concerns. Two-factor authentication has been introduced, wherein OTPs will be sent to your mobile number and email IDs both. So make sure the user ID you are picking up, please make sure the email ID and well as phone numbers are entered only the ones which you are using quite frequently and they are in use. You need to make sure your hint question and answers are being put in a way that you remember those hint question and answers. In as this particular module is already live, there have been number of questions being raised by the users where they are not remembering their hint questions and answers. So hint questions and answers, we as MCA cannot give it to you because these are encrypted information within our database. So if you have given some hint answers earlier in the V2 database, please don't expect that we can give you the answers, because that's a encrypted information within our system, and that's a security across all the platforms that you could see. What you can do is, we have introduced a new process. You need to raise a ticket with us every day evening at 7 p.m. Normally we run a job, and then a password is being shared with you, and that will be applicable for you for 15 days. That, I mean, you can access with that password for next 15 days. You can change the password before within that 15 days. If you are not accessing the system within those 15 days and you are not using that password, it will again get locked. So make sure that whatever if you are stuck with this hint answer, you don't remember, raise a ticket with our service desk. We'll give you a common user ID, sorry, password, and then you can log in into the system. Similarly, you can just put your hint question and answers. You will receive an OTPs which you have entered the email and the phone number just 1 or 2 slides back. As there is and here, if you see it, please enter OTP send on mobile and email ID. You need to enter both the IDs. If there would have been or in between, then you would have just entered one OTP and it would have gone through. Now this OTP is valid till 30 minutes. You don't have to worry about the timer below. It will be valid for 30 minutes. All the OTPs on MCA system will be valid for 30 minutes. Please make sure that within 30 minutes you are entering the OTPs. So this is one of the sample. The email ID which you have entered will become automatically your user ID once the registration is done. So again, for professional, the process remains same. It's just that the information for professional has to be put. However, in the earlier it was director, so director information has to be updated, but the process remains same. I will just skip. I don't see putting a lot of focus on this because we are already covered. So profile update page or a profile update is only for those users who are actually coming or migrating from V2. So if you are coming from V2 and don't want to, and you already have a system or you already have a user ID within our systems, you just need to, after login, you just need to go your profile update page and update your information, please. So that will help us to take you to the right category. If you are a registered user in V2 and wanted to go to the business user in the new system, you can just log in into the V3 system. It will take you to the profile update page, and this is the field that you will got it. So in this case, we are moving from registered category to the user category, and this is how it has to be done. So for this user, since this is a director role, which we have chosen as a business, within business user, the director role has been chosen. So we'll enter all the information about the directors here. And then once all the information has been updated, you will see a successful profile update. So this is usually used for the users who are coming from V2 and wanted to migrate it from registered user to business user. Last topic, quickly I wanted to run through on the associate DSC part. Associate DSC, again, the users who are filing this 9 forms has to be mandatorily associate DSC in V3 systems. The reason is we have made now one login, one DSC policy now in the new system altogether. So it's very important you are associating your DSCs in our systems and then taking it forward from you can this will help you to file your form smoothly until you don't associate your DSC, be it your director or be a professional. You need to make sure that your DSCs are associated with the systems. So I'll just give you an example. There are some also checks and balances that we need to make sure while associating a DSC. For example, Sarika ji is a professional and I am as a director. And if Sarika ji is associating her DSC, and in the earlier system, she could have also taken my DSC and associated on her ID. But in the new system, this cannot be done at all. Sarika ji has to create first her user ID first and then associated DSC. Or if she already has an account with us, she just need to log in with the same user ID and then associate the DSC. Rohit, who is a director, has to also create a separate ID and associate a DSC afresh. Then only when the both these professionals and directors have actually associated your DSC, then only you will be able to file the form. So let's say example in this scenario, Sarika ji has taken my DSC and she has associated my DSC on her ID. Her DSC will get overwritten and my DSC will come on in her place. So that's a wrong way to do it, and her DSC will not be in use. So please make sure in the new system, every professional, every director has to create a login ID. Okay, choosing the right category within business and then associate her DSC, then only the filing will be smooth. So again, you have to go to MCA services, go to FOLLP services. There's a associate DSC tab. Click on this. It will take you to this page where you have to make sure you have to confirm your certificate, token, details, confirm certificate, and it's all done. So that is how the overall DSC association will be in use, and that is the overall intention of covering this session only on this was to make sure that all your DSCs, login registration, choosing the right category, and DSC has been associated, and a profile update page if you're coming from existing system. So these are the 3 critical things that we want to cover this. I also have a request that all the FAQs, be it videos, are available on MCA website. There are enough FAQs in detail description of each of the users along with a video available on MCA website. If you are still seeing an issue, please go through them. These are ready and easy to use. Go through them. You will be able to. I could see that 90-95% answers will be itself, closed with that. There'll be hardly few users who still are facing issues, whether there are data issues, and they have to raise a ticket with us. I would pass on this to my colleague Sakshi Sharma, who is also a company secretary from our side, and she will just run you through the one-to-one mapping of the V2 forms that have been launched, V2 versus V3, the 9 forms, this company set one forms, one-to-one with you in this session. Over to Sakshi.
Thank you so much, Rohit. Very good afternoon to you all. So, set one forms covering 9 forms of company have already been migrated to V3 portal, while remaining of the company forms are still available in V2 portal. So, the company forms are being made live in phased manner to enable smooth transition of the portal, and both version 2 and version 3 are now working seamlessly. So, in order to file LLP related forms and V2 set one forms, you need to log into V3 portal, and to get in file the remaining of the company related forms, you need to log into the V2 portal like you were doing earlier. So let me tell you which all forms are covered in this particular set one. So these 9 forms: CHG1, CHG4, CHG6, CHG8, CHG9, DIR3 KYC, DIR3 KYC web, DPT3 and DPT4. These are the 9 forms which are now available on V3 portal of MCA. So before you go ahead and check the forms or file the form, just a small request: please go through the MCA portal. You will find all the FAQs, all the videos there, how the forms are to be filed, how the forms look like, and all the FAQs are available to answer all your queries. Now, once you log in, on the right hand side of all the forms, you will be able to find the instruction kits for all the forms. So, on the right hand side of each and every form, you will find the respective instruction kit. Please open that link. You can download the instruction kit also, and please go through those instruction kit. You will be able to get to know how the filings are to be done, which all fields are mandatorily to be filled, and which all attachments are mandatory. Everything is there, so all your queries will be answered then and there only. Now, set one forms have already been rolled out. Just to give you a brief about, if you are an existing LLP user of V3, how can you log in? So you just need to simply use your current login ID and password, and you can log in to V3 for company forms also. So you are not required to create a fresh login to access the V3 company forms. If you already have an V3 LLP user ID, you can log in through that email ID only, through that username and password only, and you'll be able to file the company related forms. Now, if you are an existing business user of version 2 of V2, in that case, you can use your same user ID and password to log into V3 portal, and you'll be able to file the forms in V3 version also. Now, if you are an existing registered user in V2, in that case, you will have to use the same user ID and password of V2 only to log into V3. However, you will have to upgrade your profile to business user to log into this particular portal and file the forms. Just to give you a brief of which all forms are accessible to registered user and business users. So registered user can have access to only DIR3 KYC web form. Apart from that, all the 8 forms can be accessed by the business users only. So if you want to have an access to other forms also apart from DIR3 KYC, and if you are if you are a registered user, please upgrade your profile to business user to get access to all the forms. Like in LLP, run and fill form were accessible to registered user. Here also DIR3 KYC web is accessible to registered user. However, rest of the forms which are available in V3 are accessible to business users only. Rohit has already covered how business users are created and how can you upgrade your profile to business user. So I think we can quickly move on to the forms. Now, let us discuss the first form, which is CAG1, which is application for registration of creation, modification of charge, including particulars of modification of charge by ARC in terms of securitization and reconstruction of financial assets and enforcement of Securities Interest Act 2002. Now, what all changes we have brought in through this particular form in V3 portal, I'll quickly highlight. All the forms have now been made web based. You'll be able to file all the forms in a web based manner. This particular form will be filed in straight through process mode, that is STP mode, if in case the form is being filed by charge holder as well as the company. Now there can be two cases in filing CAG1. One is where the charge holder and company both are signing the form and one of them is filing the form. There can be another case where only the charge holder is signing the form and filing the form, and company is not at all uh, there to sign the particular form. So there are two different kind of processes for both the forms. One is where the form is being filed by either the charge holder or the company and the form is being signed by both of them. In that case, form will be processed under straight through process, that is STP mode. If in case the form is being only signed by the charge holder, in that case form will be processed under non STP mode. That means it will go to the back office user. The back office user will mark the form pending for user response. Now for example, if ABC Private Limited, some bank is filing CHG1 on behalf of ABC Private Limited, and the form is being only signed by the charge holder, that is the bank. Only the bank is signing the form. In that case, the form will go to the back office user as soon as the form is submitted after making the payment. The back office user will mark the form under pending for user response. An email will be triggered to the registered email ID of the company, that is ABC Private Limited, and a link will be provided in the email ID, in the email, where the user can click and submit the response for this particular charge one form. I will also showcase the kind of email that will be triggered from the back office user to the company in case the form is being signed by the charge holder only. Now, the form, as I mentioned, that it is completely web based. Users are required to fill in the form on the portal itself and then submit the form. The PDF will get generated. As soon as the PDF is generated, SRN is also generated. But this doesn't mean that the form has been submitted to the back office user. The PDF is required to be signed by the required people. As soon as the form is signed and uploaded back on the portal, in that case, and the required fee is paid, then the form is filed, considered as filed. Now we have also made many changes in the forms also. Earlier, the particulars of the joint charge holders was required to be filed as an attachment. Now this has been removed. The attachment requirement has been removed, and this information is available in form itself. User is required to give the details in form itself in machine readable format. So you will see these kind of changes in many other forms also, wherein the attachment requirement has been removed and the same information is captured in the form itself. So particulars of joint charge holder is one such information, which is now a part of the form itself rather than as an attachment. System based email and automated reply in case filing by the charge holder. As I explained just now, that in case if the form is being filed by the charge holder only, in that case, system based email will be triggered to the company through to its registered email ID, and automatic reply will be given by the company by clicking on the link and providing the required details and clicking on submit. That reply will directly go to the back office user, and accordingly back office user will process this particular form. Signing by the IRP RP liquidator for companies under liquidation and under CIRP. Now in earlier version, this particular feature was not available. So where a company is marked under liquidation or under CIRP, there was no option for IRP, RP, and liquidator to file the form. Now this option is also available in CHG1 form, where the resolution professional can also file the form, liquidator can also file the form by giving their details, and this relationship is created by filing INC 28. So as soon as the company files INC 28 form for appointment of IRP, RP, or liquidator, the system enables the section where the IRP, RP, liquidator can also sign and file a form on behalf of that particular company, which is marked under liquidation and under CIRP. New charge asset types have also been added in the form. So earlier there were very limited type of charge that were available in charge related forms. Now that type of charge have also been uh, extended to many other types. So I'll also showcase the type of charge that are now available in the CHG1 form. And in all the forms, you will see these enhancements like pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the fields, and declaration in place of the attachments. So pre-filling of the data, you will see that if you're logging in as a company user, all the details with respect to the company will get pre-filled in the required fields in each and every form. For example, the name of the company, the address of the company, email ID, and such other details which are required to be filled in the form and are available with the MCA portal. They will get pre-filled in the form. And in the similar manner, if you're registering, if you're logging in as director user, in that case, in the form of drop down, you will receive all the name of the companies with which you are associated as a director. So for example, if I'm associated with 4 companies as director, and as I log into MCA portal, in the sin field I will be able to see a drop down of all the 4 companies, and I can select any of the companies, and then all the data with respect to that particular company will get pre-filled in the form. So these kind of features you'll see in all the forms. Quickly, I'll showcase you the changes that have been made in the layout of charge 1 form that I've mentioned just now. Just give me 1 second. So this is the layout of the form. These are the types of charge that are now available in the CHG1 form. So earlier there were very limited type of charge that we had, and now this has been increased to many more number. The details of joint charge holder have also been included in the form itself. Now the users can give the required information in the form itself. The attachments which were earlier required, like the joint charge holders details, have been removed from the attachment section. And IRP, RP liquidator have also been allowed to file the form on behalf of company which is marked under liquidation or under CIRP. I will also showcase the kind of email that is being shared with the registered email ID of the company in case the form is being filed by the charge holder. So this is the kind of email that the user will receive in case the form is being filed by the charge holder. User here refers to the company who is to submit, which is to submit the response on the CHG1 filed by the bank. So for example, if for a particular company, a bank has filed a CHG1, in that case, an email from the back office will be triggered to the registered email ID of the company, and it is up to the back office user to add further more email IDs. So for example, the email ID of the company secretary or director can also be added by the back office user, and those whosoever is required to be given the email will be receiving this email with the link. As soon as the link is clicked, a submission page, a response submission page will open in the browser, in any of the browser of the user, and there the user can submit the response, which will directly go to the back office user. Now if you click here, you will be redirected to the MCA login page. If you have company login ID, you can log in through your company login ID, and then you can submit the response. Now this is to be noted that this link can be accessed only by the company user. So even if the email is being received by the director or the company secretary or any other official of the company, including the registered email ID of the company, but this email, this link, as soon as you click, will be redirected to the MCA login page, and the response submission page will be opened up only once the company user is logged in. So if you just click here and give your director login ID or professional login ID, this page will not get opened up. To access response submission page, you need to have a company login ID in place. So we can move to the next. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Sakshi.
Okay. So we can move to the next form now, which is CAG 4, that is for particulars of satisfaction of charge. So this form will be processed under straight through process mode if in case the form is signed by both company and charge holder, and if the form is filed by the user from within 300 day of the satisfaction of charge, from 30th day to within 300 day, if the form is being filed by the uh, company along with the charge holder, if the form is being signed by both and filed by any of them, the form will be processed under STP mode, and if the form is being filed within due date. Now this form will be processed under non STP mode in case either it is not signed by any of either it is not signed by the company, or it is not filed within the due dates, within the timelines as prescribed under the rules. So if the form is being filed by if the form is being signed by both company and charge holder, and plus within the due date, if the user is filing the form, in that case it will be processed under STP mode. If any of the condition is not being met, in that case it will be processed under non STP mode. Now just like other forms, this form has also been made completely web based. Here the attachment which was earlier required, that is the letter of charge holder stating that the amount has been satisfied, this is removed because the charge holder is already signing the form, and then only the form is being filed. So this particular attachment requirement has been removed. System based email and automated reply. So just like in CHG1 I explained, here also the same process will be followed. In case the form is just being signed by the charge holder and the form is being filed, in that case email will be triggered to the registered email ID of the company, and user can access that particular link and submit the response on behalf of the company. So same process is being followed in CHG4. Just like CHG1, we have also included the signing part by the IRP RP liquidator for companies which are marked under liquidation or under CIRP. So such companies which are marked under liquidation, on their behalf IRP RP liquidator can sign the forms and file them. Similar to other forms, pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the field, declaration changes have also been introduced in this particular form also. So these are the changes that have been covered in CHG4 so far. Then CHG6, which is for notice of appointment or cessation of receiver or manager. It is one of the very less filed forms on MCA portal. Now since this form is for notice of appointment or cessation of receiver or manager, this has to be filed within 30 days from the date of respective appointment or cessation as applicable. This will always be filed under non-STP mode. And just like other forms, this has also been made completely web based. The attachment requirements which were there have now been removed, and they have now been added in the form in field number 9A and 9B. Quickly, I'll showcase to you the fields that have been added in the form in place of the attachments that were earlier required. So this is CAG 6 layout. In field number 9A and 9B, list of specified property of the company in case the appointment relates to specified property of the company, and list of specified property of the company in case the appointment relates to income arising from specified property of the company. So these two were earlier in V2 required as in the form of an attachment, but now these have been made up as a part in the form itself in machine readable format. So user is required to fill the information in the table here. As soon as you put the number of assets here in this particular box, you'll the table, the rows in the table will get regenerated accordingly, and then the user can provide the information. Now quickly moving to the next form, which is CAG 8, that is application to central government for extension of time for filing particulars of registration of satisfaction of charge, or for rectification of omission or misstatement of any particular in respect of creation, modification, or satisfaction of charge. Now, since we are applying to central government here for extension, and this form will always be processed under non-STP mode. Just like other forms, this form has also been made completely web-based. Earlier, there was one requirement to give the letter of authorization in case a form was being filed for foreign company, and the letter of authorization was required for the authorized representative of that foreign company who was filing this form. So this attachment has been removed because in web-based form we have included a section for signing of the signing by the authorized representative itself. So when the authorized representative is signing the form, there is no requirement to separately give the letter of authorization for on behalf of that particular foreign company. So this mandatory requirement has been removed from the attachment section. Copy of resolution of the board attachment has also been removed, and in place of this attachment, a declaration has been added in the form. User needs to check that declaration to move ahead to submit the form. So instead of this particular attachment, a declaration has been added. The optional attachment to give the balance sheet and annual return of the financial year has also been removed from the attachment section. So there is a major change in terms of attachments that were earlier required to be filed with the CAG 8 form. Now many relaxations have been given in terms of CAG 8 attachment in the form of declaration, in the form of tables, different tables that have been added in the form. So user is not required to take a scan of the copies that are available physically. User can directly fill the information in the form itself and click the check boxes in order to give the declaration or give the details in the form. Now automatic notification to ROC of form filed. So earlier what was happening, if the CAG 8 was filed by the user to the central government, to RD, in that case, a separate form was also required to be filed by the company in the form of GNL2 to ROC. In case if ROC has any comments to be given for the company, ROC used to give comments to RD, and then accordingly RD used to process this form. So now this complete process has been made much easier. So this hardship of filing GNL2 separately and then waiting for the ROC to share the comments on the form filed by the user has been removed. So now as soon as you file CHG 8 web-based form on V3 portal, a notification is shared by the back office user directly to the ROC, wherein ROC, if the ROC wants to give to the respective jurisdictional ROC, and as soon as ROC wants to give um, any kind of comments on the company and on the form filed, they can directly give it to the back office user, and accordingly RD can process the form. So the process of filing separate GNL2 form has been completely removed here. Then function for online payment of cost. So now if you're applying for extension, or if you're applying for rectification of omission or any misstatement, there may be a possibility that the RD may impose some additional cost on the company, which the company is supposed to pay. This process is also made easier. So as soon as the company receives the order from RD, the company will also receive a link where the payment can be, the additional cost can be paid. So as soon as you receive an order from the RD on the CHG 8 form, a link will also be provided in the order itself. If additional cost is applied on the company, user can click then that particular link and pay the additional cost. So there is no need to separately go ahead and make the payment for this additional cost. User can directly make the payment online itself. Now, just like other forms, we have also allowed IRP/RP liquidator to sign this particular form and file the form on behalf of company if the company is marked under liquidation. And just like other miscellaneous enhancement in other forms, we have also included pre-fill of the data, repositioning of certain fields, and declaration, as mentioned earlier, have also been added, and we have made certain changes in the declaration also. Quickly moving to next form, that is CHG 9, that is for application of registration of creation or modification of charge for debentures or rectification of particulars filed in respect of creation or modification of charge for debentures. Now, this form will always be there in, will be processed in non-STP mode. Just like other forms, this is also made web-based, completely web-based. There have been certain changes in the attachment section, just like other forms. So order of the central government for rectification of charge, this has been removed. Earlier this was required in the attachment, but now this mandatory requirement has been removed. System based email in case of filing by the charge holder. So just like I mentioned in CHG 1 form, so here also system based email will be triggered by the back office user to the company, to the registered email ID of the company, in case if the form is being filed by the charge holder only. That is, the form is not signed by the company or its representative, and only the charge holder is signing and filing the form. In that case, system based email will be triggered to the email ID of the company, and company can submit its response on this filing. New charge asset type, just like CHG 1, CHG 9 has also has also included many charge asset type, and other miscellaneous enhancements, just like other forms, pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the field, declaration changes have also been included in CHG 9 form also. So this covers the complete part of charge related forms. Now moving on to DIR 3 KYC form. Now let us take up DIR 3 KYC E form. This will always be processed under STP mode. If your and the due date of the filing remains the same as may be notified by the MCA, and filing fee which is there, if you're not filing within the due date, 5,000 will be the charge for filing this particular form. Now this is also completely web based form now. Additional data field have been added in the form, like jurisdiction of police station in the address column. So this, if you have already filed LLP form, you would have seen that wherever registered office of the LLP is being shared, their jurisdiction of police station is also a field has been added. So similar to that, we have added this particular field in DIR3 KYC form also. And just like other forms, miscellaneous enhancements have been made, like pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the fields have been done in this form also. Now, DIR3 KYC web form. So this form will again be processed in STP mode only. And we have not made much changes, but repositioning of the fields and pre-fill of the data, you will be able to see in the form. Otherwise, the form is getting processed like earlier only. Because earlier also this form was web based only, and now not much change has been introduced. However, pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the fields, you'll be able to see in V3 portal. Now, DI3 KYC is also covered. Moving on to deposit related forms. The first one is DPT3, return of deposits. So this form will be processed under non-STP mode if the filing for two particular options that we have, that is return of, if the user is filing it for return of deposit, or return of deposit and particular of transaction by a company not considered as deposit. If either of these options are being checked for which the form is being filed, in that case the form will be filed under non-STP mode, and the form will be filed under STP, will be processed under STP mode if in case the user is filing it for one time return as disclosure of details for outstanding money or loan, but not considered as deposit. And also if particulars of transaction by a company which are not considered as deposit, if you're filing the DPT3 form for any of these two uh, the purposes, in that case form will be filed under STP mode. So just like other forms, this form is also completely web based, and I've already mentioned how it will be processed under non-STP mode, and when it will be processed under non-STP mode, and when it will be processed under non-STP mode. So I'll also quickly showcase to you the layout, and I will show you the fields where you need to select the option, and then accordingly the form will be processed under STP or non-STP mode. Now, moving on to the changes that have been introduced in the form, the first one is attachments of auditor certificate and details of liquid asset have been removed. So now in the attachment section, you'll not be able to find the auditor certificate requirement and details of liquid asset requirement. This you will find within the form itself. So detail of liquid asset is introduced in the form of a field in the form itself. User is required to give the details in the form of this, of the details of the liquid asset, and auditor certificate is also added in the form of declaration in the form. So the auditor is required to give the membership number and then check on the declaration and sign the form. So that particular requirement of attaching the auditor certificate and details of liquid asset has been removed. Then the attachment of copy of instrument creating charge has also been removed, and in place of this the SRN of CHG1 or CHG9 is required to be provided. So MCA already has the data of the instrument, the charge creation that have been done so far by the company, and the instruments are also available when CHG1 or CHG9 was filed. So instead of the user giving the instrument of creation of charge, the user can directly give CHG1 and CHG9 SRN, and the form will be processed afterwards. So that attachment, giving the attachments, taking the scan of the file, and then reducing the size if the size is increased, all those process, all those redundant process have now been removed in the web based filing. Now additional fields, you'll see many additional fields also in the form with respect to capturing the aging of the money or loan by a company which are not considered as deposit. So a whole new section has been added for description of the amount which is not considered as deposit, and complete aging of the money is required to be given by the user in the form. So I'll also showcase that to you in the layout, how that description is added in the form itself, and how which all information is required to be given by the user in the form. And then you'll be able to see additional field pertaining to the SRN of GNL1. Now, if the rule mandates you to file DPT1, if the rule mandates the company to file DPT1 by filing GNL form, in that case, the user is also required to give the SRN of GNL in DPT1 form. So that field is now included in the form. User can give the SRN of GNL form by which DPT1 was filed by the company. Then Excel format of the attachment list of depositors is also added. So a complete structured format is also available in the form. You can download that. You can give the information in that particular Excel attachment of the list of depositors that you have. So it helps the MCA also to maintain the database in a structured format of this particular information. And just like other forms, we have also included pre-filling of the data. Certain fields have been repositioned, declarations have been added, just like I mentioned for auditor certificate. So all these changes you'll see in this form. I'll quickly showcase to you the layout of DPT3 form where these changes have been made.
Somehow, but we have not made any changes of functionality to it.
So this is the layout of the form. So if you're filing the form for return of deposit or return of deposit and particular of transaction by a company not considered as deposit, in this case, form will be filed under non-STP mode. And if you're selecting either of these two purposes, in that case, form will be filed under STP mode. We have added fields here. So this is the SRN of CAG1, CAG9 for creation of charge. Now, instead of providing the instrument of charge, user can directly add the SRN of CAG1 and CAG9. Then, as mentioned earlier, that particulars of receipt of money or loan, you need to give complete details of the loans that have been, the money and the loan that have been taken by the company, and the aging of the loan as well. So this is a complete a new section that has been introduced with this particular form in V3 portal. This section is required to be filled in by the user before filing the form. SRN of GNL form, as I mentioned that if the company has filed DPT1 through GNL form, you are required to give the SRN here. And then declaration of statutory auditor. So the declaration is required to be given here by the statutory auditor. Form is required to be digitally signed by the statutory auditor, giving the designation and membership number or certificate of practice number in this field. So now moving to DPT4, that is statement regarding deposit existing on the commencement of the act. So this is also very least filed form on MCA portal. This is processed under STP mode, and this form is also has been completely made web based, and miscellaneous enhancements just like other form, pre-filling of the data, repositioning of the fields have also been introduced in this form. So I will quickly share my screen and showcase the video where how this I'll showcase how CAG1 is to be filed on MCA portal. I'll also showcase where exactly the forms are placed on MCA portal, because many people were facing challenge that where the company forms are available on MCA V3 portal. I'll showcase that to you as well. And just as I mentioned earlier that uh, forms are now available on MCA V3 portal, make sure that that you go through the help kits given with each and every form, that you go through the videos that are available on the portal, the FAQs that are available on the portal, and you will be able to get answer of all the queries in case if you have. So I'll quickly share my screen now for the video. So this is just a gist of how CHG1 will be filed on MCA portal. So if you go to MCA portal, after logging in, if you put your cursor on MCA service, you'll be able to see multiple services which are available on MCA portal. And in that, company e-filing is there. Now, once you put your cursor on company e-filing, a whole new set of services which are available under company e-filing will get opened up. Now, in that, different sections have been created, like charge related filings are also available, wherein all charge related forms are available. Deposit related filings is also there, where deposit related forms are there, and director related filings are din related filings are also there, where DIA3 KYC is also available. So this is where the forms are placed on MCA V3 portal with respect to company filing. Now, as soon as you select any of the forms, if you are already logged in, the form will get opened up. Now, if you're not logged in, system will redirect you to the login page. As mentioned earlier, please make sure that you are registered on MCA portal as business user to access the forms on MCA portal. And if you are a registered user, you'll be able to access only DIA3 KYC web in company set 1. So to have access to any other forms, please make sure that you are registered as business user. As soon as you log in, the form will get opened up. As I mentioned, that on the right hand side corner of each and every form, a link is provided for the instruction kit. You can click on that link and you can download the help kit also in your systems. Prior to filing any form, make sure that you're going through the instruction kits that are available with each and every form. So if you're logging in as a company, the respective fields of SIN, address, email ID, all these information will get automatically pre-filled. And if you're logging in as a director user, you will get a drop down of all the companies with which you are associated. You can select any of those companies for which you want to file the form, and accordingly the related details will get pre-filled. Since a professional does not have any limit to filing form for any of the entities, uh, a professional can log in, they can search the company or the sin for which they want to file the form, and then accordingly the details will get pre-filled, and you can directly fill the sin also, and the details will get pre-filled accordingly. So as soon as you complete the details on one particular page, you can save the information on each and every page, and you can move to the next page. Just like in LLP, the save option enables you to come back anytime later on to your login ID and have access to that form, and all the information which you filled earlier will get pre-filled. So make sure that you're saving information on each and every page and then moving ahead. You need to provide all the mandatory details, then only you will be allowed to save the form on each and every page. If you're not giving any of the mandatory fields, you will not be allowed to save the information on any particular page. Now, attachments have also, just like in LLP, attachment maximum 2 MB can be given for any particular attachment. Overall, the form size is just like LLP, maximum 10 MB, including the DSCs, all the attachments, maximum 10 MB can be there. Earlier in V2, it was maximum 6 MB, including the attachments and everything, DSC and everything. Now it has been increased to 10 MB. As soon as you give all the details, you will get an option to submit the form. As soon as you click on next, after giving all the mandatory details, you will be given a review page, and the complete form will be showcased to you in one page itself. If you want to go through the form once again, you can quickly go through the form. Any information that you want to edit, you need not go back to that particular page. You get edit option on each and every section of of all the forms. You can click on edit, and that particular section will get enabled. You can edit the details of that particular section and then again save the form and move ahead directly to submit the form. So you are not required to go back to the first or second page to edit any information. You can do it at the review page and directly submit the form. So as soon as you review, the submit option is enabled for you. As soon as you click on submit, the PDF of the form will get downloaded and SRN will be generated for you. Now, this particular SRN will also be available for you in your application history. You can check the status of the SRN whenever you log in. So if the form is yet to be filed, you'll see the related action buttons also. If you're yet to pay the fee on the form, you will see the related action button there. So you also get an option to edit the form also. Unless the payment is made on the form, you get an option to edit the form also. You can quickly edit, and you again, your PDF will get generated with the same SRN and with the edited information. So this feature is also available for all the forms in company filings. And this SRN, as soon as the SRN is generated, a PDF of the form will also get downloaded, and you are then required to affix the DSC on the PDF. So the required people, as soon as they affix the DSC on the PDF form, you can come back to the portal. This is how the PDF will look like as soon as it is downloaded. So when you come back to your application history, you will get this particular screen to upload the signed PDF. So as soon as you receive the signed PDF with all the DSCs, with all the mandatory DSCs, you can upload the PDF, signed PDF here, and click on upload. As soon as you click on upload, the pre-scrutiny check will happen, and if there is any validation error with respect to DSC or anything, that will not allow you to move ahead. And as soon as the checks are done, you will be allowed to proceed to make the payment. So now after the payment is made, you will be your form will be successfully filed to the back office. So payment process is just like it was there in LLP. So you get a summary of the payment that is applicable on the company. You get to select the options online or offline. As soon as you select any option, accordingly, you can move ahead. So you will be redirected to Bharat Kosh portal, and you get various payment options. You can select the payment option as you want, and then quickly make the payment on MCA portal. So as soon as the payment is made by you, you get a confirmation as well as a challan of the form that has been filed by you. You can download the challan in your system also, and for your future reference. And the same, the application status can be viewed in your application history also. So all these features are available in company set one forms also. So this is it from our side. Just to quickly brief about the points that have been covered so far, that all the set one forms excluding DI3 KYC web are required to be filed through business users, and DI3 KYC web is also accessible to registered user. Rest all set one forms are accessible to business users only. So all the forms are web based. Few attachments have been removed, and the required information is either captured in machine readable format within the form itself, or in the form of declaration. Signing by the IRP liquidator has been allowed in the forms if the company is marked under liquidation or under CIRP, and automatic notification to ROC of CHG 8 form if uh, it is being filed by the company. So automatic notification will be shared with ROC, and the removal of the hardship of filing the same manually through GNL form has been done. Now, online payment of additional cost, if applicable on CHG 8, has been introduced in the forms. The link will be provided to you in the order itself, RD order itself, if additional cost is there, if RD is imposing any additional cost to you in CHG 8. Now, system based email have also been introduced, and automatic reply have also been introduced in CHG 1, CHG 9, and CHG 4 form, if the form is being filed only by if signed and filed only by the charge holder. So if company is not signing the form CHG 1, CHG 9, CHG 4, the system based email and automatic reply is also introduced in the forms. um, Many additional fields you'll be able to see in the form, like the type of charge in CHG 1 and CHG 9 form, and these are the overview of the changes that have been introduced in the form, apart from the pre-fill of the information. And all these information is available on MCA portal also. So you can go through all these information on MCA portal also, if in case you have any doubts or you have any queries. So this is it from our end.
Thank you very much, Sakshi. Sarika ma'am, that's all from our side. And it is too early since we have just gone live on 31st.
Yeah.
The numbers are really in a good shape. I just again wanted to again repeat it. Numbers are good. The filings are good. We are able to resolve as many issues that have been raised as of now. And we are eager to take some questions on it related to the 9 company forms that we have discussed today.
Yeah, Rohiji. Rohiji, many of people are saying that they are not able to locate the forms. So I am also wondering why it is happening that they are not able to locate the forms. How to log in and which
Ma'am,
site?
login is simple. You can just log in into the system, sign in, sign up. On the top, there's a MCA services. And within MCA services, there are options on DIN related filings. The forms are available there. There are forms related to charges which are available there. And I think Sakshi has already showcased in a one-to-one on the website all the forms which are available on the website, and they're very much visible, ma'am.
Yeah. One member is saying from past 2 days, the MCA login is not happening.
It is very much working, ma'am. Although we have not received any such kind of an information where the login is not happening. If there are some specific user ID issues which you have, please make sure to raise a ticket with service desk. We'll just look into your login ID issues that you have any.
Next is related to login problems. I have not been able to log in either by using my email ID. Message indicates invalid user ID, or using V2 ID, message indicates inactive user ID. Forgot user ID option says email ID or PAN not mapped in the system. However, existing ID perfectly working in V2 for company related matters. Please suggest how to resolve the issue, though exercised all options of help desk call, mail, complaint raising, etc.
So, ma'am, I would request through the Google Forms that ICA has, just raise your concern along with the login ID you have. We'll just have a look into your login ID and make sure that your login ID is smooth.
And next is related to DPT3, unable to file DPT3 form on V3 portal. Since shows some error, email of company not appearing, it appears as a test at test.com. And option choose between private or public company not available.
Okay. Ma'am, in this case, I think this is user specific. If you can share the SIN of the company or the complete user details, we'll be able to look into it.
Yeah.
I think this should be data related issue. We can cross check.
Sure. Then next is DI3 KYC payment done with late fee in V3 portal, but payment status still shown incomplete.
If in case it takes time, in 3-4 hours the status of the payment gets updated. So if the user can cross check again, I think the correct status would be visible. And if not, we can check. I mean, we are rarely receiving this kind of issue, but we can cross check the status of the
Form
payment.
CHG1 filed through V3 is not showing in index of charge and not available for inspection window. Even LLP forms earlier filed through V3 are not available.
So at present, that inspection part is yet to be introduced in V3, and the SRNs that are being generated in V3 will not be available for inspection as of now. But you can see the information in your application history itself. And in terms of charge related index, I think the master data is getting updated at the back end as well as the front end very quickly and on real time basis. And sometimes it takes time that because back end data is getting updated very quickly in real time basis. The front end data may take 24 hours to get updated. So if I'm filing form today, the batch runs at the end of the day and I may be able to see the correct details tomorrow, the updated details tomorrow on MCA portal master data.
In Form 8, the place to mention LLP number has been grayed out, and without filling the same, we are unable to proceed with the filing of the form. The name appears correctly, though I have raised multiple complaints for which response says that issue has been resolved, but the same still persists.
So what I understand from the query is that the LL pin is not getting pre-filled. However, the field is grayed out, but the name of the LLP is getting pre-filled correctly. Is this
Yeah.
the question?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Sakshi.
Okay, so in that case, if you're putting the LL pin through the search option, you can. I don't think that this should be an issue. In which form is it appearing? We can also
Form 8.
in Form 8.
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you share the LL pin?
Uh,
Or you can share it through with us
we have mobile number and email ID and membership
Okay,
number.
LL
Only.
pin is not there.
No.
So we can reach out to the user
Yeah.
because many users have already filed Form 8, and if user is facing this challenge, we can directly reach out to him.
Yeah. I have a professional user login on V2, used DSC authentication to log in earlier in V2, did not have a typeable password in V2. How to log in V3?
So you can use your, okay, earlier you were not using password, right? You were using your DSC. So in that case, if you have already raised the ticket, we can directly reach out to you because we cannot create password on our own and will not be able to change anything in your user ID without your consent and approval. So in that case, you can reach out to us through your ticket, and ma'am, you can share the ticket number through Google form, and we'll reach out to the concerned user and we'll try to find a solution, because there are many professionals who earlier used to log in through DSC instead of password. So we can find a solution. You can log in through your hint question also, and you can use forgot password service also, wherein you can give your hint answer and email ID, and then you can go ahead and log in. So that is also the option available to you. So if in case you face any challenge in this also, we can reach out to you through your ticket.
In case of banks, how they will register their DSC, like PNB, they have number of branches with multiple DSCs but having only one PAN.
So like it was happening in V2, there is no process change in V3. You can do the same process in V3 also.
So company SIN number is not coming while filing.
In which field exactly and which filing?
No,
User.
not given exactly.
So we would require more details into it, and if the user can share, then we can help.
While updating in LLP V3 portal, the OTP is coming, and while filling the OTP received in mobile, it is saying that wrong OTP. This problem persisting for the last 9 months and not able to log in LLP V3 portal.
Okay, this is again user specific case.
Yeah, we'll share the details.
Yes, please.
Then if KYC is already done, the same problem. If KYC has been done, it does not show that the KYC has been done. Only when while receiving OTP, it is reflecting. So member is saying ki request MCA.
Yes. Yeah. So I think MCA, we will raise this request on behalf of the users to MCA, and let's see if any changes are required to be done.
We have filed form CAG 8 and obtained extension of time to file CAG 4. What will that extension remain valid while filing CAG 4 in V3 form?
Yes, it will be valid.
Okay. So next question is in DPT3, when we entry repaid loan amount, it should be deducted from closing balance, but in form it is adding up and closing balance figures are mismatched to the balance sheet. How to fill the form if such technical error are existed? And in DPT3 filed for non-deposits as per Rule 21C, there is no mandatory requirement of statutory auditors DSC, but in the form it is asking for DSC statutory auditor.
I think, ma'am, we can reach out to the user
Yeah.
because we can directly get in call with him and we can understand and we can provide a
Sure.
resolution.
Is it required for the DIN holder to log in as a user to complete DI3 KYC web form, or can it be filed directly without login or through the user login of the professional assisting him?
Login will be very much required, and the user, since the introduction that we have done, that DI3 KYC web can be done by the registered user also. This is for the purpose that any DIN holder who is registered on MCA portal but not associated with any company can also go ahead and file the form. So if you're a DIN holder, you can log into your own login ID and do your DI3 KYC web form also. And in terms of DI3 KYC, the normal filing, in that case professional can also, because the PDF will be generated and DSC will be affixed to the form. The same can be filed by the professional user also.
Next is successfully filed DI3 KYC, but MCA approval mail to the director and company secretary are yet to be received. Under the previous version, the approval mail was immediate, and also under the V3 version, I was not able to see my attachments.
This is for which form, ma'am?
DI3 KYC.
Okay, so we are users are receiving approval email right away itself. Has
So you are saying, ma'am, the approval email is not going, or
Yeah.
approval status is not getting updated?
Approval mail did not go.
So, ma'am, there were some issues where we are launching. So this was something that we had fixed. The emails will be going for sure. And also, if the emails are not going, please make sure that email ID you are updated is the same which you are using. That's first thing. Is the emails going to the right email ID that is registered with us? That is one. Second is, if you are not receiving an email, please raise a ticket with us. That's one. Second is, if you wanted to see the status of your form, please make sure go to the application history and look at the status. If it is approved, that your filing has been completely done.
I have registered as business user and clicking in V2, but unable to see the screen as shown by you. Please help.
Which screen, ma'am?
I have registered as a MCA screen, maybe.
Ma'am, even if you want to log in into V3 and V2, those are still different portals, as we mentioned. If you go to the top right corner, there's a sign in and sign up option. You just click on that, it will take you to that page on the login page. Now, if you wanted to go to the company related filings, which still are there for the other, except these 9 forms, you just click on login for V2 filing, that is there. If you wanted to file these,
We lost your voice. We are unable to hear you, Rohiji.
am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So this page is very much available. The sign and sign up page on the top right corner of the website. Just click on it. You will be able to easily route it through to the page. If you are you don't have to if you are actually filing any other forms except these 9 forms of company module, you just need to click on the V2 option below. If you have to file these 9 forms, just click on the V3 login and then you will be going through the system.
Okay.
And just for the information, ma'am, there are enough FAQs, videos that are available, and I'm repeating again, for any of the routing issues, login issues, business users, registered users, there are videos available. There are lot of FAQs available, which you can just go through if required, just for, because this user awareness is something we all need to make sure we are able to give as much of awareness to these users. I'm just sharing my screen, ma'am, just for a second. Can you see my screen, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. So There are FAQs of V3 company related DIC on the ticker of the MCA. This is MCA website. There's a FAQ of V3 company forms. They are updated. You will see a presentation which we have used today that is very much available here. There is also a company V3 wise demo of each of the forms being available on the ticker of the MCA website. Now, if you click or if you are facing any challenges on the registration or login page, just click on the video section. There's a MCA user registration and login video available here, which is almost a 9 minutes video, which you can use, go through it, and you will be able to answer, or you will be able to get the answer of the questions that you are raising, sir. And there was one ma'am user which he is saying that he is not able to see the login page. On the top right side, there's a page called sign in, sign up. If you see it here, it will take you this page. Now it is clearly mentioned here for these 9 forms and the LLP filing, you have to choose this login. Except these 9 forms and the LLP forms, please make sure you are clicking on this company and services one. It will take you to the V2 page. It will take you to the earlier page. That's all, ma'am.
Yeah. I'm not able to submit CHG1. Then after the CHG1, other forms also.
This is very high level question being raised by the user. It's very important to have a little bit of depth of why he or she is not able to file this form. If it can be done through the Google Forms of ICAI or call us on the service desk and raise your queries will be helpful.
Okay. In case of any error while making payment for forms in V3 portal, there is no option to cancel the SRN. It gets auto cancelled after 15 days. So users have to wait for 15 days to create the form again. Can there be an option to cancel SRN with payment issues?
Ma'am, first is yes, this is right and absolutely right. If the cancellation facility has not been given to the users as of now, the cancellation in the system, if you are not opening that SRN, it will get automatically cancelled. If you are not taking action on the SRN for 15 days, it will get automatically cancelled. If there are some changes has to happen or cancellation has to happen, I would request to raise a ticket with us and we'll be quickly able to resolve these tickets immediately by cancelling those SRNs. And least but not the cancellation, I would request that these are web forms and cancellation will happen minimal because all the forms after save are editable. You need to know the reason why cancellation is not being done because all the forms, these are web forms, are editable forms. So even if you have done some changes, you want to change or you want to edit some data, you can go back, edit the form again and submit the same form rather than cancelling the form, if at all.
Okay. We are trying to file form CAG1. Do we require to register the DSC of the director, banker, and professional again in V3 for filing?
Yes, there is not again. This is a one-time activity, ma'am. We have been broadcasting it right from the beginning. For any filing in V3, the DSC has to be associated by every professional, every director who are supposed to associate the DSC while filing the forms, and the user ID and DSC has to be associated. So that means if I have to create or associate a DSC, it's mandatory to have a user ID with the MCA, then only you can associate your DSC. Otherwise, you cannot.
Yeah. Is it mandatory for every director and professionals to get registered under business user, registered user?
Yes, that is the only way.
No, every director is a keyword here.
Yes, every director has to be an business user because that's the role that has been chosen within the MCA systems. And your all the DIN numbers, your date of birth, and everything will be verified once you are associated or we are creating IDs with us, and that's how the DSC has to be associated with us.
Okay. MCA login and auto populating of data is incorrect. It's a statement only.
Yes, ma'am. It's important to have a little bit of background.
Exactly. So how to migrate the V2 login to V3 portal?
Ma'am, I showed you there's no migration to be done. You have to use the same ID, enter it into the V3 portal. and go to the profile update page and update your details. That's how it has to happen. I have showcased, go through the presentation that is there in the ticket section. It will just go to the profile update page, will give you the detail how to migrate or update your system from V2 to V3.
Is it necessary to fill DII-3 form if the director holds DIN but is not a director in any company LLP anymore?
Sakshi, need your help.
So, ma'am, all the DIN holders who are holding approved DINs are required to file DII-3 or DII-3 KYC web as applicable. And if you do not file it, your DIN will get deactivated due to non-filing of DII-3 KYC.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you're associated with any company or not, any LLP or not, you're required to file this DII-3 KYC.
So in short, man, to be an active director within MCA system, you have to file, and that's what the compliance is. So you have to file your DI3 KYC form to be active within the systems.
Okay. Please share the new portal address, though they are telling forms are visible, facing the same issue here as well. Not able to submit CHG1. I am trying to reserve a name from last 2 days, but while making the payment, I get logged out. I am not able to log in, saying that you are already logged in. Tried many times, but it is not happening. Even tried from different browser.
Ma'am, there is no browser limit or major restrictions in the V3 system. It's only the Internet Explorer, which has actually Microsoft themselves has taken off the support for that. It's now the Info IE Edge, which is being supported by the Microsoft. So that is the only thing. Don't use IE, the earlier version of IE. It's only IE Edge that has been supported. So there is no restriction with the browser. That's one. Second, I just need a detail, ma'am. If the users are facing any of the issues, I would request to raise it through your Google Forms or raise a service desk ticket with us to make sure. And I would request that users, for any developer, for any of the user who is sitting across here to understand your issues, we just need a detailed screenshot or details of the issue so that we can give a exact solutions to your problems being raised. It is very difficult that a high level issues has been raised. I'm not able to log in, but it's very important that, like an exam, I'm not able to log in, so will not help us to resolve your issues. It's simply you need to give your login ID so as to make sure that we are also checking your login ID within system and making sure that you are part of the MCA database, and we can give your correct solution to the problem that you are raising.
Passport number entered in DIR3 KYC form shows already associated with other DIN.
So yes, ma'am. So this is a genuine problem we have across from the data perspective. In the earlier systems, there was a provision that you can associate such kind of IDs with other forms. However, in the new system, it is not possible. You won't be able to do that. The only way to do or resolve your issue is to raise a ticket with us. We'll be able to help you.
Director is not able to register as business user because system is showing the message that PAN DPIN is already registered, but he never registered himself. How to register now?
Again, a data issue, ma'am. The problem is that this user ID with his email ID, phone number, I think, which have been associated with multiple IDs being created in the earlier system. When he is migrating to a new system, it is getting a conflict. The only way to fix is to raise a ticket to service desk or to raise a Google form issue with ICI so as to address this issue.
Unable to find Form 3 and Form 4 of LLP filing.
Ma'am, although is it filing or not able to find?
Not able to find.
Okay, so ma'am, it's very easy. Go to the MCA service, just hover around on the MCA services. Don't click on the MCA services. Just hover on the MCA services. You will go to the MCA filing. Again, you just need to hover on MCA filing on the right hand side. You will find all the forms being available there. Be it 3, 4, all the 20 forms of LLP are available there. It's a very easy process. There is also an option there as a new, which is as an option that is given. You can just see, you will be able to find it very easily when you go to that page.
In Form 8 of LLP, when we enter the capital contribution, it is...
Ma'am, I think Form 8, we are taking separate sessions.
Yeah. So, facing issue in registration itself, OTP is not getting generated even after 30 minutes. How do we handle this situation?
Ma'am, it is very easy that the number that being used, is it the correct number that you are using? That's one. Second is, um, uh, can you give a little bit of detail through your form, Google Form, so as to address this issue, which number it is, which login it is, so as to make sure that we're able to resolve your issue.
Then under older version of portal, we have filed same question. Form CHG 1 and 4 filed through V3 are not in index of charts. So
I think this has been already answered.
yes, sir. Now already answered questions are there. Why the master data is not properly updated or getting very much delayed? For example, new partner registration with Form 3.
Yeah. So do you want to take, ma'am, Form 3 for LLP as well here?
5 minutes if you want. If you feel that we can take for 2 minutes, then you can take, sir.
Okay, so ma'am, what has happened is there is a multiplication of the duplication of data that has happened, and the users, for example, are entering through Deepin, as well as they are partnered with us through PAN number as well. There is a data mismatch being seen. We have identified this issue of recently. Give us some time. I think there are little bit of issues in the master data updation. We could see on the on our call center as well. Give us our time. We are working on this. We will update you through the channel only how to fix this issue, and this is not far away. We'll be able to fix this issue sooner.
One of the member is saying you're not taking my question. The forms are not getting submitted only. So CHG1 he is writing, DR3 KYC he is writing. But this may be a user specific issue.
Ma'am, seems to be user specific issue. Just to give the numbers to the users, I think I already mentioned, which Ripriya ma'am also mentioned, 26,000 of filings has been done so far on the from last 5 days, only 5 to 6 days on these forms, which is really high number. I don't see an issue. Sir, I would request you to raise an issue with ICAI through Google Forms, or you can raise a ticket with us to make sure your issue is getting addressed, sir.
So with this, I have asked all the questions. All the questions have been taken, Rohiji. Yeah. Rohiji, we have taken all the questions that were raised through our this.
Yes, ma'am. I think this was very nice session, ma'am. I think this will give a lot of answers to the question that users are raising.
Exactly.
The users who are still struggling with the issues, I would request to raise an issue through your Google form or raise a ticket with us. We are making sure, sir, to make sure all the resolutions have been provided through different channels that ministry has formed, through ICI members, through ICSI members, and also from our team as well. So I would request to raise the issues through different channels, and we'll be able to address your issues, sir.
Yeah. On behalf of ICAI and Corporate Laws and Corporate Governance Committee, I would also request the members to raise their issues through the Google form which has been shared. And the issue can be shared once you raise the ticket, because it is very easy for LTI also to take up the issue and resolve if the ticket has already been raised. So we would request you to kindly fill the Google form, raise your issue. We have set up a team, and we are taking up your issues to the ministry for resolution.
I would request, ma'am, just one thing is to put little bit of detail about the issue when you are raising it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to close, even for ICAI members as well, who have been actively participating in resolving the issues. For them as well, for us as well, for the developer team as well, who is fixing the issue, for him, it is very difficult to fix the issue, and it takes a lot of time for users then to find the solution to it, the problem that they are facing. I would request from the first go, please put details about the issues, what you are looking for correctly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Rohitji. Thank you, Sakshi. Thank you all the viewers for being with us. We are now concluding this VCM, and all the presentation and everything is available on MCA website. Wherever you need a guidance, please raise your query through our Google form. after raising the ticket with MCA. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.